Welcome, everyone, and welcome to, believe it or not, the January 2023 new announcements. 2022 is but a few days left, and we're already looking at 2023. So, before we get started, let's do a round of shout outs and see who is joining us this last few hours or days of December. I've got Steven, YZF Mike, Jonathan, BN Green 1970, Gordon, Gerald, Donnie, Cody, Glenn, Thomas, and Owen. J Cure is in the house. And going back a little bit further, we've got Elko Man Kyle, Eric, David Reynolds, KCG Rail Gilbert, and plenty more that are joining us. So kind of busy Friday. Hello, Ian. Hello, Mr. Alan K. Clark Sr. Hope to see you the end of January at the Amherst Train Show. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of my New England brethren out there. So, believe it or not, yes, we're actually talking about January. I hope you all out there had a great holiday season, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever your holiday of choice is. I hope you had a chance to enjoy family and friends and celebrate. And hey, maybe you had a chance to get some new stuff under the tree that's perfect for the layout. If not, there's still some time to go ahead and do some pre-orders for December items. Also, we've got some new stuff in stock at your dealer now. So if you're watching this on your lunch break or you're watching this on one of your breaks, maybe on the way home tonight, you can stop by the hobby shop and see what your dealer's got for you. Let's do another round of shout outs before we get started. I got Keegan, Jamie, Gaming with Luke, Anthony, Dylan, Glenn, and Ted, and Joe, Benjamin, Dave, Ron, and Phil, just to name a few. We got a full house here, so maybe a lot of you guys have today off. I don't know. Right now, we got about 104 joining us live. Now, if you're joining us live, thank you for taking a portion of your day out to see the new stuff from Athen. If you're watching this later on YouTube, thank you for finding us. Do us a favor, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and that way you'll be notified every time a new video comes out about Athen product. So without further ado, let's get started. So GP40 P-2s, we did a little bit of everything this month as far as what we are showing for the GP40s. We're doing the GP40 P-2 diesel locomotives. First up, former Southern Pacific, but weathered in the prime for grime and patched out for the Union Pacific. This is era 2000s. Now, if you've never joined us for the monthly announcements, what I do is I just quickly go through all the stuff that we're offering. You can see all this at Athen.com under the new announcements banner. Keep track of us on Athen Tuesday. Every Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, we talk about these items a little bit more in depth. But for today, we're just going to show you what we're offering. So here we have the EMD GP40 P-2s as they appeared as Southern Pacific. And we're running two eras for you, 1990s and then earlier runs in the more Gothic font. So we're going to offer those in 3 different road numbers for you. You got one from the 70s. Actually, I take that back to the 80s and then into the early 90s, and then, of course, the speed lettering. Now, here's some big news. The CSX, this is the stealth scheme that a lot of guys call these. These are early paint schemes that the CSX had adopted. But what's really cool about these is these have new tooling. Now, the new tooling is to basically the slug box so that you can hook this up to your slug. Now, we know that there's guys out there that wanted to have a slug set. So what we did is when we came out with our next run of GP40-2s, we went ahead and the designers went ahead and designed that slug box for these CSX locomotives. I know there's some guys out there that already have their slugs or have ordered their slugs, they're going to be really happy now that they can have a complete set. Now we're offering this in 3 different paint schemes. And something else that's new, the GP40-2s will now have operating number boards, and where applicable, they'll have classification lights. Now, keep in mind that not all of these that we're going to talk about today have working classification lights. It depends on their era, it depends on their prototype. It's been a little bit since we've offered the Detroit, Toledo, and Ironton, but here you go. We're offering 3 different road numbers. This was another one that we got a lot of requests for. One that we were getting a lot of requests for, and that was the Ontario Northland. So we wanted to do this scheme. These kind of hit close home to me because some of these are former Boston and Maine GP40-2s. They lived on in a much more colorful paint scheme than the Guilford afforded them. But we wanted to offer these because, again, this is all based on feedback from you guys. Every time I tell you about the Athen product suggestions email, that actually goes to a live person. That live person is typically John, our lead developer, and he keeps all that information out there. We had this conversation today on social media. A lot of guys are like, well, you didn't offer this, you didn't offer that. Well, for one thing, we can't offer every single 40-2 and every single paint scheme all at once. And second of all, it does depend on how much demand we get. Now, we got a lot of demand on these Ontario Northland models as well as the CSX, and that is one of the determining factors as to why we are offering these for you this month. Now, everything that we're talking about today, you have until January 27th. That's a Friday. Now, we're also going to be offering the GP42Ls, the Canadian cab, the comfort cab, depending on what you call them. We had to do the Quebec Gannot Railway. We're doing those in 2 different road numbers. Really cool. And another one, surprisingly enough, was really, we're getting a lot of requests for Guilford. Now, maybe it's because we don't know what we have until it's gone. Of course, Pan Am and Guilford no longer exist now. They are now technically a fallen flag under CSX now. But these former Canadian units went on to serve on the Guilford rail system. Now, one thing that I do want to let you guys know on these locomotives, I'm going to try to zoom in on this. We'll talk more about it on Train Tuesday. But the classification lights on the cabs, if you order the Tsunami 2 with sound, those are functional. The red, the white, and the green lights are all functional, as well as the number boards. So that is something that we've never done with these locomotives before. This is first time we've done this. Now, the last one, I know a lot of you guys don't like these. You don't like the legendary liveries. But believe it or not, we had a lot of requests for this. When we introduced in November the Main Central GP7s in the Harvest Gold paint scheme, we had a lot of guys clamoring for more. And so we couldn't really quite fit it in, but this is kind of an alternate universe type of thing. What if Guilford never existed? What if the Main Central was allowed to continue without being merged together in Timothy Mellon's railroad? Here's a good example of what it probably would have looked like. This is something that is really great for you guys that are into freelancing. And let's admit it, it's a really cool paint scheme on a really cool locomotive. So there you have it. Some new lighting features, some new tooling, not just a rehash of the GP40-2, but an actual locomotive that's going to have some new lighting features as well as some other elements depending on the locomotive you choose. Now, going up next, we're going to continue the theme in Genesis, and something that's probably gotten a lot of you guys excited, and that's the NSC 6000 gondolas. Now, we're doing these in Genesis, and we're doing them in both HO and N scale. Yeah, go ahead and share my screen here so you can see what we're doing. So this is a brand new model, brand new. As we announced, we're doing 3 new models this month alone. We're doing this HO Genesis NSC 6000 gondola with load. We're doing 2 singles as well as 2 packs. And again, we're offering these in both HO and N scale. Brand new, never done these before. When we introduced the NSC 6400s, a lot of you guys were asking, hey, what about the 6000s? Can you guys do the 6000s as well? And then, of course, we had a lot of guys in N scale saying, hey, what about us? We want this too. Well, N scale guys, we're going to show you yours here in a minute. Now, they're going to be the same roads as the HO scale, but this is going to give you the opportunity to let both guys model. So let me go ahead and switch that over to the N scale. And there we have the N scale. Now, real quickly, just because these are brand new, and these are Genesis in both HO and N, we'll talk more about these in detail in the next coming weeks. But even in N scale, you're going to have separately applied grab irons. You're going to have brake detail. You're going to have cut levers, air hoses. With the N scale, the trucks are going to be attached by screws, not just a little plastic pivot point. And of course, you're going to have body mounted couplers. So these are all things that HO's guys have enjoyed in the Genesis line for quite a while. Now you N scale guys, you can enjoy these as well. We didn't stop there. Remember I was talking about the 6400s. Well, first of all, starting with the HO, we wanted to do some continuation of the NSC 6400s. Now, you know, we announced some of these back in November. Well, these are some new bodies. These are additional bodies to what we've already announced. One of those bodies is going to have the fiberglass cover. If you look quickly, you can see the CIT group is the one that's got the fiberglass cover that you guys were asking for. These are also going to have loads. If they don't have the cover, they're going to have the loads. Now, one of the things that I want to show you real quick is if you look carefully at the drawing of the removable scrap load, if you look at that closely, you kind of see that those legs are kind of segmented. They're kind of segmented into almost like a pyramid shape. There's 3 different segments. The reason for that is when you get these loads, you can take a pair of cutters and you can cut that to any height you want to simulate different load heights on your models. So in the HO scale, we're offering these 4 roads. Now, going back to our N scale friends, they were all kind of disappointed back in November. They said, hey, what about us? We would like to say, we'd like to have some N scale versions of these. These are awesome. We've been asking for these. So what about us? Well, I'm happy to say that we are going to have some in N scale, but we're going to actually give you guys an N scale a little bit more. So for N scale, you're going to get some of the same roads, but you're going to get also the roads that we talked about in HO scale back in November. So not only do you get the loads, not only do you get the CIT group with the cover, but you also get those roads that we ran back in November. So if you were an N scale guy back in November, looking at your HO scale buddies thinking, man, I really wish I had those NS 6400s. Well, now you can. You can pre-order these right up until Friday the 27th. And again, we're going to talk about the details on these. We'll devote a Train Tuesday just to some of these new models. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. All right, coming up next, we're staying in the Genesis world. And if you're an N scale guy, this is your month. There's a lot in HO and N scale. In fact, it's almost 50-50. We get a lot of demand for N scale. So coming up next is our Genesis HO scale 33,000 gallon LPG tank cars. These are always popular. You guys just never have enough of these. And so we're offering these once again. We're doing something a little bit different this time. We are offering them as singles, but we're also offering them in two different multi-packs of 3. So we got 6 roads that we're going to be offering. And again, we're going to talk about some of these cars more in detail in an upcoming Train Tuesday. But again, we're not just doing these in HO scale. We are actually going to do these in N scale as well, and they're going to be in the Genesis line. So let's bring that up for you guys. Now, this is kind of a, we talked the other day about some retooling and things of that nature. We've had these in the N scale line for a number of years. Now they've been upgraded to Genesis though. So they're going to have some more details to them. We've added the cut levers, we've added the air hoses, and now we've gotten you a Genesis class N scale model. These were already great models, to be honest with you, but now we've just taken them up to one notch more by giving them the Genesis treatment. Same road names being offered as the HO scale versions. Same thing here too. You can buy these in singles. Fremo guys, I know you guys like to run unit trains, so we're going to have these in 2 multi-packs of 3. Coming up next, going into the Athen line, we're going to be offering the 60-foot Gunderson double-door high cube box cars. These are another one that was extremely popular, and these have really got some nice detail for them. They're a really great car, whether you just do operations, whether you are part of a modular group. They've got just enough detail to satisfy most model railroaders, and they hold up really well. Now we're offering a couple of different roads here, 5 of which are actual roads. We did do a legendary liveries version of the Cotton Belt, and quite frankly, it's legendary liveries, but I think it's a really cool looking car. We're offering these in 3 different road numbers for Union Pacific, Canadian Pacific, Burlington Northern Santa Fe, and 2 different road numbers for a Lancaster and Chester, Cotton Belt, and a Mississippi and Tennessee. So as you can see, some great stuff. And we've got something else for you guys that are into TOFC. We're returning the 53-foot Wabash plate trailer. Anybody that's modeling the 1990s into current times, these are the perfect trailers for you. We're also doing something really cool. We're doing a Prime for Grime version on that Triple Crown. Check out how the Triple Crown is kind of ghosted on the side of the trailer. This is one of those Prime for Grime ones that we're offering. Now, these are going to be available in 2 different road numbers per road. And plus, we've got one for you guys that have been asking for it, the owner operator. Basically, it's all white. It's an open canvas. So if you've got your own fictitious trucking line or your own freelance railroad, this gives you the opportunity to put your creative talent to use and have a home road for your 53-foot trailer. And sticking with the theme of Athearn, we've got some HO scale here for Athearn. We have got the Thrall high side gondolas with load, and we're offering these in 3 different road numbers. Now, these are another favorite, specifically with guys that are into the modular, such as Fremo. And you know what? I know what you N scale guys are saying. You're like, well, that's cool, Jim, but I model N scale. I like those cars, but I want those in N scale. Well, don't worry. We'll talk about you guys here in just a second. Now, we're offering 6 different roads. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you can see those. We're also offering the David J. Joseph Company and a Prime for Grime. Very popular. We've got a pretty good range of cars, customers, and eras here. So again, if you like these and you're looking for N scale, do not worry. We have N scale. There we go. As we say, bada bing. Now, you N scale guys that are doing Fremo, you're doing N track, even T track. These are perfect, and you can get these set up. These are all multi packs. There's 3 road names per multi pack, so you can build an incredible train with these. And of course, N scale guys, you can maximize your real estate because your scale is not quite, but almost half the size of HO. So go ahead and take a look at these. You can see all of our new announcements, of course, on the Athearn website, athearn.com, going to the homepage and hitting that banner, which just happens to be that CSX slug mother on the banner. So take a look at that. Also, you can check with your local dealer. Your dealers already know about these releases and are ready for you to come on in and get your orders. So with that being said, I know there's a lot of information there. We wanted to cover a lot of ground, but keep in mind, we'll be talking about all of these in detail throughout the month of January on Train Tuesday. If you have not seen Train Tuesday before, you can find us every Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. You can find us through Facebook, or if you're not a Facebook or social media type of guy, go over to our YouTube channel. Athearn's got an extensive YouTube channel, and you can catch us there. So we do a live feed every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. That's Central Time. And we show you in detail everything that's available for pre-order that month. We also answer your questions live during the show. And it's just a great time to take a 30-minute break from working on the layout and seeing what's going on at Athearn. So with that, I'm going to see if there's anybody that's got any questions before I let you go on, because believe it or not, this is the last broadcast or the last live of Athearn for 2022. So let's see if there's anybody that is got any questions. Going through here. A lot of people are happy with those Thrall gondolas. That's good to hear. Eric says he's getting all the Herzog. Let's see what else we've got. So yeah, those Thrall cars, they will have a load. Those will have a load. Matt wants to know GP40-2 LW and N scale. Not right now. Honestly, every time we announce something, if we even came out with, say, I don't know, a DD35, the first question I guarantee would be, are you going to do it in N scale? N scale, again, I want to warn everybody, as popular as it is with maybe yourself and myself, I'm a fellow N scaler. It makes up a pretty small part of the hobby. HO scale is still the king of all scales right now. N scale makes up a pretty good second, but it's still not where HO is. Typically, we're going to do the HO stuff first. If there's enough demand to build an N scale version of it, we'll do that. But we're trying to appease you guys in N scale by giving you some great offerings this month. And don't take that as a no. There's never, never. It may be something that we look into in the future. Yes, the trailers will have different numbers. Let's see, got some new questions coming in. Keegan wants to know, any plans for Dash 8s? Not at this time. Not at this time. Not something we have on the drawing boards right now. The LPG tank cars are cool. I've got some from the previous run, and yeah, they're just really cool. Mr. Wagner wants to know, what is your favorite? I teased you last time. I mean, honestly, when I'm not on the clock, probably Boston to Maine. That's only because I grew up within a half a mile of the main line, or the northern main line. So that's probably my favorite. Close second would be the CB&Q. Dave wants to know if there's any CSX SD70s in the pipeline. Off the top of my head, I don't think so. Not right away. We did a run of SD70s last year. I'm not sure if they're in for 2023 or not. So rather than always remember, sometimes keep an eye on what we're doing on social media. Sometimes we'll sneak stuff out, but for right now, I don't think so. Let's see. Benjamin wants to know, any chance you'll be doing the 50-foot high side gondolas in the CIPX road name? Well, definitely not in this run. In the future, yeah, again, if we get enough requests for it, we'll probably do it. You know, we had like I was saying earlier, we had some folks that were a little disappointed in the January announcements because we didn't offer their GP40-2, or we didn't offer their Wabash trailer. When it comes right down to it, at the end of the day, we really have to look at what you guys want. I mean, if one guy wants one locomotive road name, but there's 45 that want, BNSF, UP, Norfolk Southern, or even Guilford, we're gonna go to the 40 guys. Because as much as I tell you guys that we are model railroaders here at Athen, we also have to continue to make a profit. That way we can keep giving you new models consistently. So in order for us to be profitable, we have to make what is in demand. And this month, those Guilford units, the CSX units, the Ontario Northlands, those all are because of you guys writing into that email that I tell you about all the time, the Athen product suggestion email. Gaming with Luke, any plans for N-scale diesels? We actually have had some N-scale diesels. We've had the SD70 series. We ran some a couple of years ago. We announced some, and they were available in stock last year. Will we be doing any this year? There's always a possibility that we'll be doing some. Any new N-scale diesels? At this time, I don't know. I can tell you this much. Our product development staff is working on a lot of things. We're going to be releasing a lot more this year than we did the previous year. All right. So with that, I am going to let you guys go. I see your comments and questions out there as far as what you want to see. Do yourself a favor. Go over to the Athen website, hit the Contact Us button, select the Athen product suggestions, and bam. Now, you know what? If you pick a road that isn't real popular, don't expect it to happen overnight. Even if it is a popular road, don't expect it to happen overnight. Planning these new releases takes months. Some of the things that we're talking about today took place in a planning meeting almost 2 years ago. So realize that it's not just because you don't see your road every month doesn't mean that we're not listening to you. We are. But sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So, with that, I want to thank you all for joining us today. We'll talk more about these in detail in an upcoming Train Tuesday. Until the next time we talk, I want you all to have a great, possibly long weekend, depending on who you work for. Have a great long weekend. Saturday is the last day of the 2022. Sunday, we go into 2023. So let's have a great 2023. Happy New Year's, everyone. Thank you for your past support. Athen wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and we really do appreciate that. Check us out on social media and be safe, be healthy, be happy, and above all, high greens. Happy New Year's, everyone.